Ever been disappointed by an intriguing post with no updates or resolution? Think stories with updates and conclusions are a chef's kiss? Well, I'll be posting from r/best of Reddit or updates. Hope you're ready for part 1. Reposted by Kitten Deal a Mama status concluded. OP. Low stakes _ Orasit. Originally posted in Am I the Ashhole on June 28, 2022. Ex-husband's girlfriend wants me to leave my home so she can move in.
My ex-husband and I are in our early 40s and late 30s and have been divorced for almost 3 years now. While he did not want to get divorced, we separated and have been co-parenting our 2 preteens amicably. He lives within 5 blocks of our old home, and while we have 50-50 custody, our kids freely bounce between our places and choose how they want to spend holidays. We've tried hard to create a sense of stability despite the change in our family situation, and have standing tune-up therapy twice a year to make sure we're all comfortable with the arrangements. His recent partner, Maria, who is 29 years old, has been the only one to make it past the 6-month mark. And prior to this encounter, I would say that she makes him happy and is a pretty reasonable lady. She has a very sweet and precocious son, who is 9, that we all adore, and generally, I thought things were going well. I invited Maria to bring her son to my place if she would like him to join my kids in private language classes. She accepted, and this has been going on for a few weeks now. My kids adore him. Last week, she said something to me that was surprising. She asked me when I would be moving my things out so that my ex and her could be able to cohabitat. I was taken aback and confused, asking her to clarify, my current home? This home? And she nonchalantly told me, you don't need all this space for 3 people. We wouldn't have space at X's current condo. Her son looked so awful and embarrassed at this point that I was like, this conversation would need to include my ex. My kids and I live in a brownstone that my ex and I purchased together 50-50, but that I have been renovating since before the divorce. My ex lives in a nice condo that's spacious, but is still a little bit of a man cave. Later in the evening, I got a text message from her son that was pleading for me to forgive his mom, that he's sorry for his mom and to not tell my ex. I feel awful, but I think I should let my ex know this conversation occurred and let him handle it. Would I be the ashhole if I told my ex-husband my concerns about his girlfriend? I'm the single owner of the house. My ex insisted throughout the divorce that I keep it. We do co-own his condo though, haha. In the comments, before our divorce, we owned both properties outright. Our divorce was very amicable. He insisted I keep the brownstone. After the divorce, I had my lawyer help me transfer the brownstone deed, and my ex signed the documents. He just never did that with the condo. I asked him a few times, and the answer has always been, well, hand-wavy. I'm his ex-wife, not going to continue nagging him on something he's dragging his feet on. The awkward conversation happened in person. I shut it down because her son was there, and I could tell he understood the situation and felt uncomfortable. He texted me afterwards from his own phone. He's a special kid in the best way, very mature and advanced for his age. The thing is, I don't think it's been discussed between them at all. I think she may have just assumed. When we separated, he insisted that I keep the house and that I didn't need to buy him out. The house belonging to me is ironclad. I just got nervous and blurted out that we'd discuss it because her son was there.
Part 2. Update 3 months later.
I procrastinated bringing up what Maria said and basically told myself to assume best intentions or awkward curiosity. My thought process was that it's my home and she'll have to cart me out of here on the back of a hearse. I admit I was also nervous about raining on his happiness and did not want to be perceived as a bitter ex. The kids had a grand time at camp, and a month or so later we had a family dinner with both sets of grandparents. My ex brought Maria, and it started out great. Everyone welcomed Maria and her son. Maria was helping me finish up dessert in the kitchen, and I was patting myself on the back for the goop-level blended family dynamic when she made an off-the-cuff comment about how she'd host parties here. Ex came in with the kids, overheard, and asked, "Oh, did Low Stakes offer for you to host?" Maria's son just burst into tears and started apologizing. It was genuinely one of the most awkward experiences of my life. Long story short, the entire family has learned that X had a vasectomy after the divorce and is not looking to remarry anytime soon. Afterwards, I talked to him about the previous interaction along with showing him the text messages. They're no longer together. I am worried about Maria's son, although I recognize it's not my place. Unsure what I can do there. Some people asked why I laughed haha at the end of my edit that I owned half his condo. It was mainly out of uncomfortable irony. X is extremely driven and brilliant in his career, but disorganized in life.
Note from the reposter OP kinda glossed over the confrontation between the X and Maria. Some people are confused about why Maria thought the house was too big for OOP's 3 people, but not too big for her own 3 people, and the way things played out when the X found out. This is my take. Maria was already planning to move into that house with more than 3 people because she was already planning all the kids they were going to have, without ever discussing it with him. That's why she thought they'd need a bigger house, and what brought the vasectomy up during the confrontation.
OP is lucky to have been able to have an amicable split, though from reading and listening to so many of these stories, there probably should be a more formal custody agreement, even if it's not enforced. OP is not the ashhole here in my opinion, but the ex-girlfriend definitely is, and in my opinion, so is the ex-husband. For him, however, it's to a much lesser extent. The hand-wavy attitude is why this mess exists. By month 6, it's probably important to have discussed contraception in children, especially if you already have kids. It seems like this conversation either never came up or was ignored by the ex-girlfriend. I believe it's possible she may have known about the no marriage and thought about baby trapping him. Just a thought. Unfortunately, the ex-girlfriend's son is going to lose out on what seems to be positive influences in their life due to their mom's inability to communicate and not be entitled.
Thanks for joining me today. I'm glad we got to enjoy this ride together. Comment if you have any suggestions, similar experiences, takes, or stories on this situation. Subscribe and like if you're interested and looking forward to our next updated story.